Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. So before we get into these topics, do me a big favor. If you do end up enjoying this video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. It really does help the videos a lot. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. The first topic I think is a really interesting one. It has to do with a newly published video on the Digital Foundry YouTube channel, where they title the video, "Do we actually need a PS5 Pro console this generation?" Now, they do also talk about the Xbox Series X within this video, and whether or not Microsoft should also pursue a mid-gen refresh for that console. But we're going to be focusing on the PS5 Pro specifically, because there have been multiple reports since the launch of the PS5 that this is something Sony is planning and something they are pursuing, which creates an interesting conversation. Something that I've noticed is that anytime a PS5 Pro is brought up, it doesn't really matter what the context is, people don't like it. They don't seemingly want a PS5 Pro, and there are many different reasons that people give as to why they don't want a PS5 Pro. One of the biggest reasons is many people believe that it's just simply not necessary. Now, if you watch this video that Digital Foundry puts out, they back this up with a lot of really good points, and I think it does become pretty clear that we don't need a PS5 Pro console this generation. Now, there was a slide that they put into this video where it says the case against Pro consoles, or enhanced Pro consoles as they're calling them. And the first point is they say almost 2 years in, next gen, in quotes, has yet to happen. We're still deep in the cross-gen transition. Now, I have to agree with this point. I think this is the most significant point. It's true that we really have not seen what these consoles are capable of. In fact, it seems like we're not even remotely close to seeing these consoles and their full potential tapped into yet. Now, the second point they list here is surrounding technologies requiring an upgrade are absent. 8K displays have yet to gain any real momentum. And I think that this is an obvious one. An 8K resolution is simply not a good selling point. 8K is not the standard. It's not going to be the standard for a long time. And people are totally okay with 4K 60 FPS. So I have to agree with this point. The third point, and I think this is actually a really important one, they say cost per transistor prices are not falling at speed anymore. Doubling console performance will be very expensive. And they point out in this video how it wasn't always like that. In the past, it was actually kind of the opposite. The price would fall, and it would make it easier to kind of upgrade these consoles and, move on to the next gen. Whatever it is they were doing, that's not the way it is anymore. It's actually the opposite. So this would actually make it a lot easier for both Sony and Microsoft to just kind of stick with these current gen consoles for quite some time. And the fourth and final point is they say the current economic situation looks dire worldwide, basically saying that, creating a more premium product just isn't really the best idea at this moment in time, and probably won't be for at least a little while. And then you also factor in that Sony is going to want to do a PlayStation 6, and that anything they may decide to do for a PS5 Pro is actively taking away what they could end up doing for the PlayStation 6. So I just wanted to talk about this because actually I agree with Digital Foundry, and after watching this video, it really kind of opened my eyes and made me realize, you know what? We really don't need a PS5 Pro console. I mean, don't get me wrong, if that's what Sony does, I'm going to try to get one, and I think a lot of other PlayStation fans will too, but it's really not necessary. We are in a very different situation with the PS5 than where we were with the PS4. A PS4 Pro actually was very much justified at the time, and right now with the PS5 and for the next, I'd say 5 to 6 years, I just don't think it's going to be necessary. So you let me know your thoughts about that down below. The next topic talks about Resident Evil 4 Remake and a comparison video that was done. This is reading from WCCF Tech, where they say a new Resident Evil 4 Remake comparison video has been shared online, highlighting the difference between the original game and more. The new video, which has been put together by El Analista de Bits, highlights not only the visual improvements, which also make the atmosphere feel more creepy, but also some design changes, such as Leon's jacket design looking more like the alpha version of the original game. And something else that is worth noting with the Resident Evil 4 remake is that there are going to be some significant changes made to the game, and I think that this is what many of the fans are kind of feeling a little bit trepidatious about, where we want to see them preserve what makes Resident Evil 4 so great, but I think most people are open to some changes and alterations. And it says here, this time the game is being developed to achieve state-of-the-art quality for a survival horror suitable for 2023. While preserving the essence of the original game, we aim to make the game feel familiar to fans of the series, while also providing a fresh feeling to it. This is being done by reimagining the storyline of the game while keeping the essence of its direction, modernizing the graphics, and updating the controls to a modern standard. So they do confirm that they are making some changes to the storyline, and I think that that's an area where they're going to have to be very careful. But I think, as I said, most people are open to kind of seeing what they're going to do here. We know that RE2 Remake was done pretty much perfectly, a flawless remake. RE3, I feel like some people thought could have been handled a little bit better, but RE4 is absolutely a game that they cannot afford to mess up, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far of the direction that they're taking with it. But obviously, we're going to have to see more before we can really make a judgment. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to highlight the fact that there's already comparison videos being done, and you can see some massive differences. I think it looks great, but I also wanted to let you guys know some of the other changes that they're planning with this remake. Next up, we're talking about Final Fantasy 16. This is reading from PlayStation Universe. They say shortly after the latest trailer for Final Fantasy 16 was revealed during the June 2022 Sony State of Play, producer Naoki Yoshida and director Hiroshi Takai took to the game's official Twitter account to each deliver a message to fans. Both Takai and Yoshida thanked fans for their patience. Many felt it had been quite some time with any news whatsoever from Square Enix's highly anticipated title. Interestingly, and on an exciting note for fans, Takai remarked that the game is fully playable from start to finish, though of course there is plenty of polishing that needs to be done. As for development progress, I'm happy to announce that the game is fully playable from start to finish, said Takai, though from optimization to brush up, there is still a mountain of challenges tackle as we head into our final push. So as we know, we just got the new trailer for Final Fantasy 16 with the release window of summer 2023 confirmed, and fans are extremely hyped right now. We're getting yet another development update directly from the director of the game, letting us know it is done. You can play it from start to finish, and between now and the game's release next year, they're going to be fully focused on polishing and optimization, which I actually think is great, because it pretty much sounds like they're going to be doing a lot of polishing and a lot of optimization for an entire year. And that is more than enough time, you would assume, for them to be able to kind of get this game a 100% or as close to 100% locked in as it's going to be. This is a big title for both Square Enix and Sony, and there's a lot being put into it. And it's apparently going to be a massive game, so it makes sense that they're going to need a lot of time to optimize it. But there you go. That's the latest development update for Final Fantasy 16. Next up, I do want to let everybody know that we are getting confirmation that we're going to be getting our first proper look at gameplay of the Calisto Protocol at Summer Game Fest. So over on the official Summer Game Fest Twitter, they let us know that we're going to be getting our first look this Thursday at the Calisto Protocol. We got the trailer, obviously, for it during the State of Play, and it did show what seemed to be some gameplay segments, but this sounds like it's going to be like a full-blown, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7-minute demo of the Calisto Protocol, which I'm very much excited about. I am very, very much looking forward to this game at the end of this year, and this is something that we've heard from Jeff Keighley about Summer Game Fest this year, and why I'm definitely looking forward to it and have a certain amount of excitement. He's letting us know that he's going to have more gameplay this time around, or at least that's what he's striving for. He was trying to ensure that there's going to be a decent amount of just raw gameplay footage being shown off from different publishers and different developers. And I think that anytime we go into these shows, that's really what we want to see more than anything else. We like the trailers, CGI trailers, maybe not so much, but still, there's just nothing better than just seeing raw, uncut gameplay or at the very least, like a proper gameplay trailer that gives you a really good idea of what you can expect. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know about that. The final topic I have for you talks about another PlayStation 5 game that I'm really looking forward to, that being Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up showing up at Summer Game Fest as well. But the developers are talking about how they're excited to take full advantage of the PS5 and some of the advantages that will be there because it's a current gen only game. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, they say Respawn Entertainment's Stigismussen has said that Star Wars Jedi Survivor's PS5 version will take full advantage of Sony's hardware, and the developer is especially digging into the Dualsense's haptics. In an official interview, he said that the biggest advantage of the new console is ray tracing and real-time lighting. Quote, I think the biggest thing about the PS5 and the Series X is ray tracing or lighting that's allowing us to do real-time lighting all the time at a fidelity that's well beyond anything we've ever produced before. Since it's real time, we get to see the changes as we tweak the lights immediately, essentially. That means that we have more time to polish. That means that we can iterate more and we can get better results that feel more filmic. Asmussen went on to praise blazing fast drives on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Quote, we have these blazing fast drives on these consoles that are allowing us to load tons of content really quickly. I've always worked on streaming games that don't have load screens. The fact that these consoles have such fast storage has made it even easier. Those are probably the two biggest benefits. PlayStation 5 has some really interesting haptics on their controller that we're digging into, and it's just an easier process in general. So there you go. This is a developer working on this game, letting us know some of the advantages that they have since they don't have to worry about a PS4 or Xbox One version. This is one of the reasons why I'm really excited about Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and it is a nice touch that they are mentioning the PS5 haptics. It really is awesome to see that developers are not letting go of this. I think that was the big fear, is developers were only going to care about the DualSense at first and then drop it. We're actually seeing the exact opposite of that. It seems like developers are actually really excited and still excited to take full advantage of the DualSense with their upcoming games. And that is something that I love to see. So there you go, guys. That's going to do it for the video. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Again, leave it a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.